going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching another video. As you guys know, my Audi S3 has been finished with the 93 tuning on my VORTEX XL. So what I'm going to be doing today is we're going to be going out on our first official drive of the car. What I've been doing is just driving the car to where I need to, log in the car, and then coming back home. I haven't really driven the car and enjoyed it as it is because I wanted to wait till Matt from EQT told me that the tune was 100% ready to go and that I could rip on the car. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be driving the car all day, so that tomorrow, hopefully, we can make it to the track and see what the car can do. And I just want to make sure that everything is running right, that the car feels good while driving like normally on a longer extended period of time, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to strap you guys up to my GoPro, and we're going to go out for a drive. We're going to do all different kinds of scenarios, from city driving to the highway to some pulls, and see how the car is. So let's get into it. So I think for me, guys, one of the most impressive things about this car so far, just driving it like normally and just getting to have a better feel for the car, is how much it drives like stock. You wouldn't know that this car had any sort of modifications, especially a hybrid turbo with MPI and all of that stuff, if you just get in the car and drive it. The only thing that you'll notice, obviously, is the exhaust that I have, but besides that, you really wouldn't know. If you keep your foot out of it, there's no drivability loss in the car. It feels, like I said, pretty much like stock. Once you get your foot into it, it still doesn't really do anything unless you really mash it in a lower gear, where the boost comes on quick and it really gives you that roller coaster drop feeling where the car's just pulling boost all the way to redline. But right now, let me drop to third at 30 miles per hour. If I'm cruising around a town, it feels normal, which I like because it gives the car a daily driver type feel. It's not a car that you can't drive every day. This car easily I'd be able to daily with no problems whatsoever, which is what I wanted. I wanted a car that made a lot of power, that can run a 10-second quarter mile, that I could get into and just drive and not have to worry about the car being sluggish, the car being a pain to drive, and just annoying overall, where it was just brutal that I would only drive it on occasion because the car was uncomfortable. The fact that the car feels this good is a good indication that all the hardware works well and the tuning done by EQT is top-notch. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun and just give the car a couple of rips and just see how it does on some little windy roads over here. And let's see. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's kind of I guess the best word to use is scary, because I don't know another term that makes sense how the car feels, because when it gets into boost, it's ridiculous how hard the boost comes on. And for a hybrid on an IS38 style housing, this thing spools up a little after 3,000 RPMs, and it spools up hard. Let's wow, Jesus. Oh man, this thing is it's addicting. It's addicting. I definitely think when I head to the track, it's gonna be very close 10-second car for sure, because of just how hard. And the thing is that this car pulls all the way to redline now, whereas before with the IS38, you know, it drops off, obviously. The turbo doesn't have enough steam up top to be able to do what it needs to do at the higher RPMs, but this thing this won't fall off at all. This pulls all the way to redline, and my redline now is 7,200 RPM, which is great. I think stock is 67, 6,800, something like that. So this car definitely pulls all the way to redline the way it is as it sits. This car is just a ton of fun. Let's see what we got here. You gotta keep two hands on the steering wheel, I'm gonna be honest, because it just, oh my god, this thing is nasty, guys. This thing is nasty. I love it. I'm just screwing around right now, just having a good time, just ripping the car around. And these streets are all paved, which is freaking amazing. So I can just have some fun and rip the car without a care in the world. And the most impressive thing is just how put together the car feels. It feels super solid. No weird rattles, no leaks, no fuel cuts, no weird things that I've noticed so far driving the car. And obviously, because the car is on a setup like this now, it's going to be driven a lot harder, a lot more aggressive, because that's the tendency. When you go to do a hybrid turbo and you go to do all these different mods on cars up to this extent, you're obviously going to be doing harder driving, and I just want this car to be well put together. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing more consistent maintenance. I'm going to be doing more oil change intervals quicker. I'm going to be doing plugs a lot earlier as well, just to make sure that everything is running properly, because the last thing that I want is an issue, and I want the car to be driving 100% every single time I get in it, and every single time I want to have fun. I need the car operating at its optimal performance. One thing though, I think I'm going to need, guys, for sure, is going to be a better wheel and tire setup. Well, maybe not wheel, but definitely going to need better tires, because these Kumos are okay. They're the PS31s. They're not bad. Don't get me wrong, they're not bad. They're okay. I need something a little better, maybe like what is the dude? Alright, bro, what are you doing, bro? But like I was saying, I definitely need a better tire, because it's just crazy. You put your foot down, it just wants to light up. Like it's amazing. Let's give the on-ramp some love. Oh man, this is oh my god, this thing is a treat. This thing's for sure a treat. It just gets up to speed too quick, guys. This thing is so good, so good. And then you let your foot out of it, and it's a good daily. It drives so well. It drives so well. That's the appeal of having the car this way. It just feels amazing. It feels amazing, and it does what it needs to do. And honestly, that's why I really love the way the car is right now. Partial throttle, the car's pretty quick. I mean, it gets up to speed still pretty good when you're just barely pushing it. So that's another amazing thing about the way the setup is. You can merge in traffic without having to stomp your foot down and do anything crazy, and the car responds and does exactly what you want it to do. So I think, in my opinion, having a setup like this is it's just good for every single aspect. If you want to go to the track, you have a fast car. If you want to daily drive, you have a reliable car. If you want to have fun on back roads, you have a car that can definitely take it. So anything that you do in this car, the way it's set up, it's just going to do it, and it's going to do it well. And again, that's the biggest benefit of just doing all these mods to the S3, because it's blown my mind how well this car has felt so far. Now, obviously, if I'm going to be beating the car everywhere I go, who knows how long the car's going to last. And it's still on 93. I'm going to turn it up even more. Obviously, when I go on E85, this thing's going to be even faster. So that's something, you know, to keep in mind for myself, that I need to be very careful in the decisions that I make and how I drive this car and everything, because one wrong move, driving it hard when I'm not supposed to, all of these things will factor in if something happens to the car. And if I blow it up, it's going to be unfortunate. If I have to build the engine, I'll do it. Don't get me wrong, I've already thought about it, just because at the end of the day, I don't know how long this motor is going to last. Everything checks out fine. There's been no knock on the tune. There's been nothing, but things go wrong, things happen. So I just want to be prepared. I want to have the funds to the side, where if this engine does decide that it lets go, that it wants to let go, I just am ready to just drop something in and build something, so I don't have to worry about it, and then it'll be literally bulletproof at that point. But obviously, if I go to build the engine after something were to happen, there's no reason to stay with a hybrid at that point. I probably would go to EQT's Typhoon and just go full frame, retune the car, and just see what it does at that point, and, you know, make mid 600 to 700 wheel horsepower, which would be, I mean, again, insane. But then at that point, then I have to build a transmission and all that stuff with better clutches. So again, I'm just rambling on now, because I'm just have so many thoughts in my head, just because of the step that I've already taken in this car and where it could potentially be in the future if something were to happen. And now, guys, we're just cruising on the highway, and it's normal, it's comfortable, it feels good. Like that's what it's supposed to do. It ships great, nothing is out of ordinary. Like it's good. So you have a daily driver, a highway cruiser, you have a car that really does what you need it to do. The best thing about this, guys, is that now we're driving around town and it's like normal, just cruising along, don't have to worry about anything. I mean, this car doesn't skip a beat, and I'm lucky because a lot of times when you do mods to this level, it is it's risky because you don't know basically the history of the car before you, unless you're the original owner. Things could go wrong, parts could fail, your engine might not be as strong as you think it is, and the fact that I've been able to take the car to the track dozens of times, when I drive it I have fun with it, and now that the car's on a hybrid and obviously making a ton more power than it did before, the car still drives phenomenal. It's a blessing, honestly, that this car has responded so well. And I guess the last thing is just how long will this car last, and what my plans are after it's all said and done. For now, I mean, the jump from my previous tune, which was just the stage 2 E30 on the stock IS38, with how good that car felt at that level, to how much faster the car is on just 93 on the XL with MPI and everything and all the supporting mods is crazy. And the fact that I'm going to be turning the car up even more, because I would assume that this car makes somewhere between 470 to 480 wheel horsepower right now, probably low 400s torque, maybe like 420 torque, somewhere around there. That's my thought on the power that the car is probably making right now. And I'm expecting on E85 that this car is probably going to make somewhere around 520 to 530 wheel horsepower, somewhere in that range. So I'll probably be picking up another 50 to 60 wheel horsepower just by changing fuel, which is ridiculous. You know, that's going to be a crazy jump in power by just throwing in ethanol instead of 93. And the winter is coming up here in the Northeast, so that's another thing to keep in mind, that winter blends for E85, usually the grade is very low. I remember when I was mixing for E30, when I would go to the pump and check, you know, you were looking at like E65-ish, something like that. But according to everybody, as long as the tune has at least E60 in the tank, I should be fine. So as long as I can see at least E60, I shouldn't have an issue. So we'll see what happens. I'll obviously test the pump before pumping into my car and filling it up. But that's the only bad thing about the wintertime. The blends here in the Northeast for E85 is terrible, and they really water it down. So we'll see. And then obviously when it's freezing cold outside, the car's going to struggle to start on full E85. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So most likely for the wintertime, the car's going to stay on 93 most of the time. If I want to have a little bit of fun, I'll probably do E85, and I'll probably be dynoing the car in the winter as well to see how much power it makes. So then at that time, I'll also have E85 in the car. But then when springtime comes, that's when I'll start running the car as much as I can on E85. I'm going to get a bunch of like 5-gallon, the VP Racing jugs for fuel. I'll probably fill up like 5, 6, 7 of those and just keep them at home, and so I don't have to worry about it. So I'll fill up the car and then have like an extra like 25 to 30 gallons of fuel on hand, so I can fill up the car another 2 times when I have to, and then, you know, make less trips, because this isn't my daily, as you guys know. So 1 tank of gas, a full tank, lasts me sometimes a month, maybe a little more. So if I'm only going to be filling up once a month, it's definitely worth to do it. So we'll handle it that way, guys. But yeah, that's probably going to conclude this video. I'll do an outro in a little bit, but just wanted to do a bunch of different kind of driving, from in town, city type, to highway, to doing some pulls and just seeing how the car feels. I'm going to be off camera driving the car the rest of the day, and I'm going to start doing a little bit of prep to take it to the track tomorrow. It does show it's supposed to rain. Hopefully that does hold up. It just shows early in the morning, so hopefully it clears up, and it's going to be like 52 degrees, which is perfect. The air is going to be perfect tomorrow, so I'm like 99.9% sure I'm going to get out there and go. My buddy's going to come with me, Arias, he's going to come with me too. So that should be a fun time. And yeah, guys, I'm really hoping that we're able to run that 10-second pass tomorrow on 93, which, again, most likely I'm not going to make it out to the track on the 85. That's going to be starting next week, which will make it the middle of November, which means that my tune probably won't be done until December. So if I do make it to a track, it'll have to be a very long distance, maybe going somewhere down south to run the car, which I'm probably not going to do because I just don't have the time for it. Or if I can find a track in the area that closes down like the first week of December, which they did last year in my area, but now it looks like it's going to shut down like the weekend of Thanksgiving, which is 2 to 3 weeks away now. We'll see what happens. But yeah, guys, this is basically what it is. A little POV driving the car, and I'll film my outro right now. just to give you guys a full little update about everything. So anyways, guys, that's going to conclude the video. Thank you so much. Like I said, I should be making it to the track tomorrow. We're going to see what this car could do. I'm so excited because I've been waiting so long to do this. I haven't been to the track once this year. So being that the car is now in a whole new setup, it's super exciting. So I'm hoping I can get that 10-second pass. If I don't, and it is what it is, we'll try again next year, or on fully 85, I'll know it'll do it with no problem. So we'll see. Hopefully my setup can put the power down with my wheel and tire setup and everything else. So that's what I'm most concerned about. But anyways, it'll be a fun time just to see where the car's at. And I'm so excited, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. The car feels amazing. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.